Friends, what is up? Greg Newmaster coming at you again with another action figure review. Today I have Star Wars The Vintage Collection, Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars The Clone Wars. I figured since the new Mandalorian trailer for Season 2 just dropped, I should do a Star Wars review. I picked this figure up recently at Target. He was $12, I think. He was either 12 or 15, I can't remember. This is Anakin from the Clone Wars. A word on Anakin Skywalker, probably one of the greatest characters in film ever created. Anakin Skywalker, who goes on to be the nefarious Darth Vader, probably one of the greatest cinematic villains ever created, on just so many levels. His presence, his attitude, the way that he speaks, the actions that he does, his tragic life story. I'm gonna tell you, back when I was a kid, when Star Wars Episode 1 was brewing in the works and it was coming out, it was the biggest deal in the world. Just waiting to finally see Anakin, the hero, the Jedi, what the Jedi were actually like. Because in the original trilogy, we see a really old, frail Obi-Wan Kenobi. We see Luke, who's learning to be a Jedi and struggling. And Obi-Wan in A New Hope references the Clone Wars, and he references Anakin, his great friend, and student, and who was this guy who was a good pilot and the greatest Jedi of all time. And we finally get to see what happened to him. And then when Episode 1 came out, we got a little child Anakin. Just a really cheesy kids movie with one of the greatest lightsaber duels of all time, though. I'll fight anybody on that. The Darth Maul Obi-Wan Qui-Gon battle is probably the greatest, if not one of the greatest lightsaber battles, besides Luke and Vader in Empire Strikes Back, and even Luke versus Vader Part 2 in Return of the Jedi. Just magnificent lightsaber battle. But Phantom Menace was wooden. It didn't have any of the charm of the original ones, at least in my opinion. It was a big disappointment, and we didn't get to see Anakin really be who he was until Episode 3. But Episode 2 also was a big disappointment because Anakin was a whiny brat. He was a whiny brat. So thank God that George Lucas came up with the idea to do the Clone Wars, the cartoon show. And I gotta say that the Clone Wars makes the prequel trilogy incredibly watchable and way more likable because it fills in all that backstory. And I mean, it truly is what fans wanted to see. We wanted to see the Clone Wars, the legendary Clone Wars that Obi-Wan referenced. We wanted to see Anakin be a hero, so that when he does become Darth Vader tragically, like, it hits and it hurts, and it's just this big, sad, shocking moment. And Episode 3 was really good. I liked Episode 3. Some of the best work from the Emperor, just that manipulative speech, the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise when he tells that to Anakin in the opera, like, that's awesome. And just like his manipulation throughout the whole thing. But Anakin Skywalker, amazing. We finally get to see him in the Clone Wars. The voice acting is phenomenal. I like that voice actor better than Hayden Christensen. He just made Anakin awesome. And then this new season recently that came out on Disney Plus that kind of summed it up. Those last few episodes were awesome and excellent. So anyhow, I'm a huge fan of Anakin. More of a fan of Luke, but when I saw that they were re-releasing this vintage collection figure, I had to get it because they're doing better head sculpts and painting on the figures. So I wanted to quickly show you guys this figure today. So let's get a good look at him. Here's the packaging. We see Hayden Christensen on there. He's wearing the Clone War armor So it's not animated, which I really appreciated because I didn't like the animation style too much in the cartoon show. It got better as it got along, as it went along, but it was really boxy looking and just wasn't a fan of that style. Um, I think they could do a way better job, and it's Star Wars, and Star Wars deserves to have a better. Star Wars deserves the best. It deserves the best production. It deserves the best animation. It deserves the best acting because it's one of the greatest stories ever told, in my opinion. My favorite movies, hands down. So they re-released this vintage collection, Anakin, and with a new head sculpt. So I had to pick it up, and I'll show you guys a quick comparison. So here's the package, and there's the card. There's the card on the back. The figures are in some dynamic poses on the back. I picked up a lot of these figures in this wave because of the new head sculpt. So I'm gonna bust this guy out for you. Get him out of the plastic here. All right, let's get a look at him. Yeah, and automatically I could tell. So it is the exact same head sculpt. So they didn't give him a new head sculpt, but they gave him a new paint job. And I like it. Like, the paint is a lot more subtle. You can see the scar on his face. They kind of gave him shading around his eye sockets. So underneath his eyebrows, underneath his eyes. Kind of has like raccoon eyes. But it makes it look a little bit more dynamic. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It doesn't look... It really doesn't look like Hayden Christensen, I would say. Not too much, but it looks good for what it is, I would say. There's the back of the hair, sculpted very nicely. Remember, this is 3.75 inches, so this is only about 4 inches tall. So the fact that they could do this level of detail on something so small is incredibly impressive. So here is the original figure, if you could get a comparison. And honestly, I like the original figure. There's not as much detail. Like I said, as you can see, it's the same sculpt. The original figure, the colors are a bit more bold. The eyebrows look like they're painted thicker. There's no shading on the face. So it's pretty generic for how small it is, but you can't blame them for that. I can hardly see the pupils and the irises on this new one. Like, I mean, I got that. Like, I can't tell if that's colored. Like, on the old one, you can see he has blue eyes. But on this new one, I mean, you can barely tell. So I like how they mix the soft goods. He has, like, the soft good tunic in his robes, just like the old one. Nothing different here, but let's see. The logo on the shoulder seems to be painted a little bit nicer. So it stands out just a little bit more on the new one. Not too much differences here. I actually have a paint defect on my new guy. Little paint splotch coming across there. But yeah, not too shabby. Interesting choice of colors. Like, I like the design too. He has armor on, so this is evocative of Darth Vader, which I really appreciate that. Sort of alluding to what he's going to be. I also like the Obi-Wan Kenobi figure, how he's in armor. It sort of looks like stormtrooper armor. So it's like a mix between the Jedi robes and the clone trooper armor. Articulation, not too much. So shoulders go up about that high, and it kind of sticks on the armor there, so you kind of have to like force it to slip up under there. 90 degrees in the elbow, so no double jointed elbows. However, they do have the wrist articulation where it tilts up and down instead of back and forth. So I really like that. That's good for lightsaber poses. It's like that on both wrists. Yeah, so they gave him a blue and red color scheme instead of the brown and black, which is what he has later on in episode 3. So I'm not really sure why they gave him it's a blue and like a purple, maroon purple, instead of the black and brown. Even his pants are kind of pinkish colored. Limited articulation in the knees. His boots look like the boots that he wore as a Padawan. We got ankle articulation, up and down. There's no pivoting though. And it's just your standard crotch articulation. So he can do a split, but he can't do a straddle. There's no ball joints or anything like that, I'm fine with that. But he looks really good. I'm happy I got him. Head is on a ball joint. So I appreciate the ball joint articulation. He has a shorter haircut than his hair is later on. Here he is. This is him with episode 3, Anakin. And this figure is way bigger. He's bigger. This is like sort of the Sith possessed Anakin. So his eyes are like the red and the yellow. But the articulation on this figure is phenomenal. Like we have waist articulation. The elbows, they still go 90 degrees, but maybe just a little bit more. He can do straddle, so he can kick his legs up. Really appreciate that. This has the dark brown color scheme. And this is my favorite Anakin figure. But this is the Clone Wars figure, and he's a little bit younger here. He's a few years younger. Let's check out his accessories real quick. He comes with his blue lightsaber, the one that is passed on to Luke in A New Hope, and which Luke loses in Empire Strikes Back. It's just a simple lightsaber, not as detailed as some of the other lightsabers. It's a little bit thinner too in the hilt, so when he holds on to it, let me see if I'm having trouble getting it into his hand there. There we go. Yeah, so it looks good. Like I said, he has that articulation on the wrist here, so he can point it like that. I just really like that. I appreciate that when figures have swords and spears, and he can hold it up like this, like point it straight up in the air. So it looks really good. Also swivel in the wrist too, as you can see. And then he comes with a unignited lightsaber hilt as well, but I don't think this one doesn't port onto his belt anywhere, which I don't know why. Yeah, like this can't attach to his belt anywhere, which is kind of stupid. For example, this Anakin comes with a lightsaber hilt that attaches to his belt. Let me see if I can find that real quick to show you guys. Just and I'll show you his lightsaber and just compare the two because they're way more detailed. So here's one that attaches to the belt. It has a little port there, and it can go right on like so. And that's great. So if you want to have him where he doesn't have his ignited lightsaber, it's like that. But look at the level of detail in this lightsaber. This comes with the episode 3. There's shading. It's just really detailed looking, where they gave this, the Clone Wars Anakin, it's just not as detailed. It's a little bit more simplified. Maybe they did that because of the Clone Wars, the TV show, and that animation is just not as detailed. I don't know. They should have just given him the better lightsaber, but it's still good enough. So anyhow, great figure. If you are obsessed with Star Wars like I am, if you love the Clone Wars and you missed out on this figure the first time, I highly recommend getting it. The new paint apps are really nice. The face looks really detailed and good. Yeah, and if you like the video, please like and subscribe. I hope you guys are doing well out there in these times of COVID and political unrest. God bless you all. Peace.